welcome to this week's edition of Cooking in the Kitchen. You will see that my trusty sidekick is not here. He actually is at the groomer. He will be even more handsome than he normally is in a couple hours, and hopefully less stinky. The skunk smell is still permeating throughout. So today's recipe, I find one of our favorites at our house, a staple, because it is very fast to do, very easy to do, freezes well, reheats well, and can make several substitutions. So I hope that you enjoy it as much as we do. And it's a curry chicken coconut dish. I just call it coconut chicken at our house, but it does have some curry in it. It has a bit of coriander in it. Very, very simple to do, and the love of the one pot. So today's one pot, I'm actually going to be using our beautiful cast iron Dutch oven. If you don't have a Dutch oven of any kind, this can also be done in a wok. This also can be done in any deep pan that you want. All done on the stove top, very fast, very easily, and it can cook even slowly in the afternoon if you want to do it, or it can be done in a matter of 35 minutes from start to finish. So today is all about, although it's a warm day here in Ontario, it's kind of a rainy on, rainy off kind of day, and it kind of still has that coolness to it, even though it's warm out. So this is a really great dish, and for those of you who are really busy and work all day, whether it be at home or out of the office, this is another recipe to prepare easily ahead of time and can let it go into your slow cooker. It also, like I said, reheats well, so it's great for those lunches as well. So I'm just going to quickly grab my computer, and I will be passing this recipe on to you. Like I said, for those of you who don't have my, you're not part of the newsletter yet, please let me know if I can add you to the newsletter. Would love to do that. I'm trying to uniquely get some recipes that I find easy to use and products that you have in your house often, or that are products that you might use. So, like I said, we're going to start the recipe with our cast iron, and I'm actually going to be turning it on, and this recipe I'm actually going to double. And the reason I'm doubling it is that, like I said, it is really great to reheat, and Dave works from home, and with me having the part-time job at the bakery, both of us need lunch, and I try to prepare his lunch before I go. So this is one of those recipes that A, I know he can have, and B, that I know he'll eat and actually really loves. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to add 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil over a medium heat into the pan. So like I said, I'm doubling this recipe, so it calls for 1 tablespoon. The recipe that I'm going to, when I do attach it to the newsletter this week, it will be a single serving. This one, like I said, today I'm preparing is a double. So I'm actually going to add 2 full tablespoons of olive oil into the bottom of my pan, and I'm going to let that heat up. And while that is heating up, I am going to add an onion and a pepper, and the onion chopped up. I'm going to use the manual food processor. Those of you who know me well, those of you who followed along, know how much, yes, coriander is just like cilantro, you know, it isn't really Miss Katie. I can kind of mask the taste of that one. You all know how I feel about that cilantro. Okay, manual food processor, absolutely love. I'm going to chop my onion in here. Now it's going to ask for half of an onion. I'm putting the full onion. Love my manual food processor because it has the non-slip grip at the bottom. I'm going to put my extremely sharp blade in there. All of it can be dishwasher. I'm going to cut my onion in half with one of my favorite knives. And I've talked about these knives before. My Santoku knife, whether it be the 5-inch professional or the coated, doesn't matter in the sense of the sharpness of it. Both of them can be sharpened. I'm just putting the onion in here into chunks. Both of them are dishwasher safe. The difference is our professional knives are lifetime guarantee. The blade goes all the way to the end, giving it a clear cut. It is my ultimate favorite go-to knife, and that's why I use it both professional and coated, because I love it. I'm going to chop that onion up. And you'll see there how fast that is. Look at that. I disagree with our friend Linda, who says cilantro is the best herb. In fact, for David's birthday, which was the beginning of the month, Linda gave Dave cilantro oil, since Dave never gets cilantro in anything that he eats, because God knows I can't stand it. But that way, Dave can still have cilantro in his stuff if he wants to add a flavor boost of oil. I say ain't nobody got time for that, but you know. All right, so I've got my onion going there, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my camera so you guys can see my beautiful pot right there on the stove. And I am going to be using my favorite spoon, the slotted, oh God, now you're all crooked. I turned you, but then you fell. There you go. I'm going to be using my slotted teak spoon, which I absolutely love. I don't know why it's my favorite at the moment, but I love that I can get everything in the crevices of this, of all the pans. Oh my goodness. Hello, computer. Okay, so I'm adding the onion, and I need to grab a red pepper, which I forgot to take out of the fridge. Hold please, while I grab my red pepper. You can add, if you do not have a red pepper, if you have an orange or a yellow, the sweetness of the pepper is actually the best, and that's why we're doing that. And again, I'm going to actually throw the pepper into the manual food processor as well, just so that I can get it done quickly. But you want a sweet pepper. So if you don't have one of the sweet ones, the green pepper is just going to give this recipe a different bitter taste to it. And that's not what we want. The coconut milk and the herbs that we're adding into this recipe are heightened by the sweetness. And so that's why we ask for a sweet pepper. The onion I actually use is a Vidalia, so a sweet onion. You can use a cooking onion as well. I wouldn't suggest a Spanish or a red. Again, the flavors of your coconut milk and the curry powder together is really what you want in this dish. Okay, so I've just added the red pepper into my manual food processor. And again, I'm just going to quickly chop that up. And again, just tossing that right into the pan today. Now, for those of you who do have cast iron, you know how well it retains the heat. And with a Dutch oven of any kind, whether it is a cast iron Dutch oven or not, the Dutch oven, most Dutch ovens actually have the little divots onto your lid. And the reason that the divots are there is for steaming purposes and for cooking. It's actually steaming itself as it's cooking, sealing in the moisture. So again, that's why I actually love to cook this recipe in this pan, because I can get it done now. I can keep it simmering for the rest of the afternoon, and whenever Dave or I have time to come for dinner, it actually is still warm. It's not burning itself because it's low heat, and I can really turn it lower for heat because the retention of the heat into the cast iron is amazing. With the enamel cast iron as well, it's beautiful. For those times that eventually we'll be able to entertain again, this is again another beautiful dish that I'd be able to take right from the stovetop and put it onto the table. And I want you to know that our cast irons, whether it be enameled or regular, are like our stainless steel or our non-stick pan sets, lifetime guarantee. So if there's anything ever wrong with these, you let me know and I will guarantee and get those returned for you, which is amazing. How many companies can you say does that? Okay, so I'm gonna let that go in there for a little bit, and while it's doing that, I am going to cut up the chicken. So this is, again, like I said, one of those recipes that you can omit and change. So vegan, I would add tofu. Pescatarian, this dish is really, really good with cod. What my suggestion would be for a cod or a fish of any kind would be to poach the fish first, or to sear it in, or even bake it in the oven first and add it afterwards, because it will get, because of the juice of the coconut milk and such, and I'm going to show you afterwards what I mean, is to kind of add the fish. Another great thing to add to this is obviously shrimp, or scallops is another beautiful if you're pescatarian. We have done this version for Lauren, so obviously we've done it with tofu. Again, really simple, easy recipe, and even for those uni students who you know, are on a budget and don't have a lot of money to actually buy a lot of seasonings and spices, this one has the basics. Like I said, it's got coriander, it's got curry, and then we're going to add some coconut milk to it. Garlic and ginger, and even if they didn't have any ginger, regular ginger, you know, we're going to use our grated ginger. Again, like last week when I did my recipe, you can use a ginger oil or even a ginger spice of any kind. It will as well do the same thing. You just want the hint of that. The ginger actually is the last thing that we're going to add to this recipe. And again, it just heightens the flavor. And one of the steps that I'm actually going to do just before I cut the chicken, I believe, yeah, so I'm going to add this, and then I'm going to add, I'm adding the chicken. So I'm just cutting up my chicken, and again, the reason I'm actually showing you and not, I would have pre-cut the chicken ahead of time. What I wanted to show you is start to finish, this meal can be done and prepped. It's prepped in about 20 minutes, and that's, you know, cooking, the starting of this, cutting up of the chicken. It takes another probably 15 to 20 minutes after just to finish cooking. So this is one of those recipes where you've rushed home from work and you need to feed those humans that you live with, and you're tired. Like I said, you just walked in the door. This is a recipe that even while you're still, you know, thinking about work and you've just walked in the door, where you would be able to start the dish and then let it simmer while you have a nice glass of wine or a beautiful G&T, maybe in your beautiful Adirondack chairs on your porch, while you're waiting for your dinner to finish. So again, the reason I'm showing you this is my favorite knife, my Santuco knife. I am cutting my boneless, skinless chicken. You can see here it's cutting like butter right through it. For those pescatarians and vegetarians out there, I know you're thinking that's disgusting, and I don't really want to see how easily it is to cut, but I want to show you all that the knives are so easy to use. Don't forget that if you are going to cut raw chicken on a cutting board, I would not suggest on the flexible cutting mats. The flexible cutting mats, my suggestion would be for our fruits and vegetables, for bread, and maybe for meat once it is cooked. Once your cutting board gets some strong nicks in it, I want you to get rid of that cutting board, because you do not want any bacteria into your cutting boards. Pampered Chef cutting boards are guaranteed for 3 years. And the other thing I wanted to let you know is they are dishwasher safe. I mean, obviously our cutting boards have nicks in them. They're meant to, they're cutting boards. But if there's any major damage to it, you don't want any bacteria getting into them. And these cutting boards come into 3 sizes. This is the medium cutting board. Amazing that, again, like you can dishwasher safe it. No, you shake it. Yes, Mark, shaking my coconuts this afternoon. So while the chicken is cooking in there, and I'm apparently throwing it out of the pan, and there's no one to rescue me since Bristol is not here, is I'm letting the chicken just cook in there. Like I said, I'm doubling the recipe because it is a beautiful, easy to reheat recipe. Absolutely adore it. And again, I've got my other cutting board here, my flexible cutting mats, which I love, which I'm going to use for the rest of it. I'm going to add that cutting board into the dishwasher. So while that is going on, I'm going to add the garlic to this dish. And I'm going to add half of the garlic now to the chicken, peppers, and onions. And then I'm going to reserve the other half of the garlic for the chicken to be done. I'm going to move it onto the side and I'm going to saute the garlic so that the garlic starts to get enhanced actually into the pan. So I'm going to use our garlic press. I do not have to peel my garlic, so I can just simply push my garlic through. My skin of my garlic pops right out. Best garlic press ever. I know some of you who have followed me have heard this before, but if you buy garlic in a jar, FYI, your garlic, immediately the minute you open it, starts to lose its freshness, and after 2 weeks, it is no longer fresh. So that big one you picked up at Costco that you thought you got a great deal over, unless you're going to eat all that in 2 weeks, it starts to lose its freshness. So again, garlic, not peeled, right into my garlic press, and I'm going to throw that in. So this recipe calls for 4 cloves of garlic. I'm obviously using 8 because I am doubling my recipe. So I am, like I said, going to put the first 4 cloves in now and seasoning the chicken with that. Then I'm going to be moving the chicken off to the side for a moment, and I'm going to cook the garlic at the bottom of the pan and seasoning the pan with a hint of garlic, and then I'm going to add the curry. So while we're waiting for that chicken to finish up here, so in this pan I've got 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I have a whole red pepper and a whole sweet Vidalia onion and 4 cloves of garlic right now. Automatically my house smells amazing. Now the other reason that my house smells amazing, and let me just grab it, I'm going to take a couple of our new products. So these are not new, these are our silicone oven mitts. The silicone oven mitts go to 725 degrees Fahrenheit, so if you do need to take things off your barbecue, these are awesome. I also have barbecue mitts that actually have the fingers in them. They're great if you have a big mitt. I do not. I have a big butt, not a big mitt. So the barbecue mitts don't fit my hands great. The silicone ones do. But this is our new silicone trivet from the spring line. What's great about it is essentially like 3-in-1. So they all come apart. They fit in like a puzzle, which is awesome. But I just keep it that way when I just need one. And what I've done is, in this recipe today, I wanted to add some cauliflower. I love cauliflower, curried cauliflower. I absolutely love it. So what I thought I would do today is I roasted some extra cauliflower that I'm actually going to throw in to the pan afterwards. Just before I'm done, while the rice is still cooking in here, I'm going to add the cauliflower. So I just put it in on this is the small bar pan. I put that in the oven at 400 degrees for 10 minutes. All I did was, with my kitchen spritzer, I just spritzed a little bit of oil onto the cauliflower. I added some SPG from Epicure, which is salt, pepper, and garlic. And then I added some curry and some coriander and just sprinkled that on there. And then I put it into the oven. So right off the bat, my house smells amazing. Between the cauliflower roasting, the garlic in here with the onions and peppers, my house absolutely smells amazing. And I'm letting you know, your house will too if you try this recipe. It is delicious. Okay, so the chicken is almost done here. While that's going, I'm going to open my coconut milk. So the Thai Kitchen coconut milk is my ultimate favorite. I obviously do buy other brands if it's on sale. But I have to say, the Thai coconut to me tastes pure, and I love it. Can opener, Pampered Chef can opener, absolutely love it. I love the fact that how easy it is to use. I'm just going to move that. That would be the chicken broth, and if any of you watched me last week throw my chicken broth all over my floor, that was fun. So the can opener is now attached to the can. The security of this is incredible. It is not going to let go at all. It's kind of like when you would drop your babies off at daycare and they wouldn't let go of you. Okay, so I clip it on going right. To take it off, I'm turning left. There's some little teeth there and a little button. I'm just going to press the button and the teeth open and close. I'm going to grab the lid, and voila, the can is open. And the greatest thing about this is that it is the non, what do you call it? It's not, it's a clean can, it's a clean, oh my God, what is it, Dave? It doesn't have, oh my God, the lid, there's no pokey edges, it's safe. I don't know what that's a professional term there, the pokey lid, the pokey, I don't know. Anyway, okay, so gonna open the second can here. Give me a minute, it's not helping. Okay, the chicken is almost done, so I'm just gonna move all the chicken into the corner, and then I'm gonna add the last 4 cloves of garlic to the bottom of the pan. This was a big clove. It was gorgeous. Don't have to worry about peeling, so it's awesome. Just gonna add that. The garlic press does come with a little brush to help clean it. My brush is long gone because I didn't need a little brush, I thought. So I just dig the skins out with the knife here. You can see there again. It's awesome. So this is 8 cloves of garlic, because remember I said I'm doubling my recipe today. Okay. And I've got my chicken and peppers and onions all moved to the side. And just allowing this fresh garlic that I've just done to just sit into the pan, into the little bit of the oil there. So from there I am, okay, so the oil is sitting there, and I'm now going to add the curry and the coriander to the same kind of corner where the garlic is. What it is actually doing is the oil and the seasonings are actually allowing themselves to kind of mesh together, and they're allowing the flavors to come together, because we're then going to add the rice to this dish. So I've got my spice rack. This is an official spice rack from India that Lauren's friend Zehen gave me for Christmas. And I add 2 teaspoons of curry powder and 1 of the coriander, but I'm going to double that, so it's going to be 4 teaspoons of curry. It all is in these cutesy little wooden boxes. Isn't that adorable? So I'm going to add 4 curry. Okay, I'm adding 4 of the curry there, and I'm adding 1 teaspoon of coriander. Sorry, 2 teaspoons, because I'm doubling it. All right. And from there, oh my God, you think I would know this by heart. So it's just, I'm just stirring that in there. And then I'm now going to add the chicken and just stir everything together. So it allows the 3 seasonings to come together, to almost bloom together. And I'm turning it down to a medium heat, and I'm now adding the rest of the, so I'm adding 2 more of the tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. So again, this would be 1 for your recipe, unless you are doubling it. I have to say my house smells incredible, but anything with curry smells incredible. All right, I'm adding the oil, and then I'm actually also going to add the rice. Now, it calls for, this recipe, original recipe calls for a cup of long grain white rice. The rice that I absolutely adore and use often is a long grain and wild rice. It is an all-time favorite. It's delicious. This is what I'm actually going to use, and like I said, I'm going to use 2 cups. Now I'm going to rinse it, and I'm using my fine mesh strainer to do the rice. It is very fine, so it's great for anything that's thinner that you might want to rinse. The other thing that I would suggest, and I've said it in the past, is to save the water once you do rinse your rice. Rinse rice, that's a tough word to say 5 times. If you rinse your rice, save the water, because your indoor plants actually get the nutrients from the rice, which is awesome. So just another little FYI. So a few things, like I said, in the pot, if you leave the 3 spices to engage themselves into the corner of your pan, they start to blossom. If you rinse your rice, you can then blossom your plants. So I'm going to put the rice in here. I'm saving the water, and then I'm going to add the rice directly to the pan. So I'm just rinsing the rice. Okay, and I'm going to throw that in there. Now again, this process takes about 20 minutes. Once we start to finish, add the chop up and add everything to the pan, about 20 minutes. Now it's going to take between 20 and 30 more because of your rice. So all we're doing is I added the rice, I'm sauteing that for about 30 seconds, then I'm going to add chicken broth, coconut milk, and a hint of salt. Once it's just about done, and I'm just about to eat it, I'm then going to add some ginger, and I'm going to add my cauliflower. Now, I could easily add my cauliflower now, had I not roasted it, but I wanted a little bit of enhanced flavor with my cauliflower, so that's why I had pre-done it. Okay, so I'm just going to add my coconut milk. Let me just get my second can open here. All right. Whew. All right, there's my coconut milk. And again, the reason I love this brand, you can see there how thick it is. It's got so much flavor in it. So I'm adding the coconut milk. So this is when you can shake your coconuts and add it to your chicken. Beautiful recipe. I love the fact that I can omit and add things. So again, for those of you who might have the allergies to something like garlic, you can omit the garlic in this dish and easily add any other spices. My suggestion would be actually omitting the garlic and adding ginger to it earlier, and it would give it a beautiful enhanced flavor. This is 2 cups of vegetable oil. No, it's not. Good Lord, that'd be disgusting. That's 2 cups of veggie broth. You can also use chicken broth if you want. I wouldn't suggest beef broth unless you are using this recipe with beef, but this is a beautiful recipe, like I said, with fish. Really great with fish, shrimp, scallops, like I said before. So beautiful, beautiful looking. You can see there as I'm stirring it along, it is quite soupy-like at the moment. I'm going to put the lid on this, and I'm going to allow it now to sit. And this is when, like I said, after you've worked all day and you've prepared this beautiful dish in the pan, this is when I would have a little drinky drink while you're waiting. Like I said, maybe a little G&T, any of that. Just so you're gonna let that simmer. The recipe says for 15 to 20 minutes. I'm gonna say it takes about, with this rice, it takes about 30 minutes. So this dinner is done start to finish, like I said, in about 35 to 45 minutes, depending on your prep time. You could also pre-buy a chicken, pre-buy those cut up chickens and add that to the end. That would be absolutely fine as well. We've done it with fish and shrimp. It's beautiful. If you don't use the long grain rice and you use something like a quick brown rice or white rice, again, the time is going to change accordingly according to what your rice is and the mixture. But again, 1 can normally would be 1 can of coconut milk to 1 can or 1 cup of your broth. Really simple to use. I did forget to add some salt, and I'm just going to add a pinch of salt. So I'm just going to use the grinder from Pampered Chef, and I'm just going to add that in there. And now I'm just going to let it sit and do its thing. Now, just before I'm about to serve it, I will take my ginger, and I will take my fresh ginger today, and I will use my fine mesh grater, and I will grate my ginger over top of it. This is actually from the new line, the new juice line, that comes in 2 pieces, because currently right now we still cannot get the fine mesh grater. It is still on back order, thanks to Corona and COVID and not being able to get stainless steel. We're having a hard time with that. But this new product came in, and what I do love about it is that I can zest with it, and which means I can use my ginger right over top of the pan as well. Easy to use, easy to clean as well. So guys, this is it for the curry coconut dinner. It is absolutely easy to use, absolutely delicious. I'm gonna add my ginger, I'm gonna add my cooked cauliflower to this. And just before I serve it, I'm gonna chop up some green onion, and I'm gonna put the green onion on top of it. I will show you a photo when it's done. I would not steer you wrong with this. This is a delicious, easy, healthy, again, whatever you don't have in your house, you can substitute the garlic out for the ginger. You don't like coriander, omit the coriander. You love curry, add extra curry. One thing I would suggest as well is a hot pepper is also a great alternative. I got a nice hot one actually from India that I'm going to be adding to ours, and it's a Kamsala chili. It's quite spicy, beautiful flavor. This recipe as well to add red chilies just before you're to serve it is as well as excellent, and it enhances the flavor of the curry. So I hope you have a beautiful Wednesday. Enjoy this dish. If you're not on my mailing list, let me know. I will totally get you onto the mailing list. I love to help you get some healthy recipes onto the table and some new recipes. If anybody has any ideas that they might want to see cooked, or some recipes that includes maybe some different pans that they don't have or tools that they don't have in their kitchen and want to see it in use, please don't hesitate to hit me up. I love to do that. So everyone, thanks for showing up. Happy Wednesday.